All right, I'm going to apologize in advance as I woke up with a sore throat and a cough, and my voice is not great. But that's not going to stop us. We're still going to do these videos. And as a good friend of mine, Mr. Nicholas Atwood, once said, when you have a cold like this, it just means you can sing the Neil Diamond so much better. LA's fine, the sun shines most of the time, and the feeling is laid back. Sing it with me. Palm trees grow and rents are low, but I got a feeling like I gotta start making my way back. That's so stupid. All right, we're gonna do it. So what we want to do is, this will almost certainly be deleted. I'm just in one of those moods. So we're going to start with opening our project and then branching it. And we haven't done a branch at the command line yet. We've just done it with the GUI. You can tell this is going to be a great set of videos right off the bat, can't you? We want to do it at the command line instead to know how to do that. So let's do it. I'm going to open up this water project folder, which opens in my other monitor. And then in here, I'm just going to open in terminal. So in here, now this is the folder that contains that hidden .git file that we've talked about. And so here, we just say, in order to create the branch, we can just say git branch and then the name of the branch. Now this one I'm going to call phase 3. And so we create that branch, and then I can say git branch, which will list out all the ones that we have. Now notice I'm currently on phase 2. That's the branch I'm on. So if I want to switch, then I would say git checkout phase 3, and that will change my branch. And now if I say git branch again, then it's going to show that I've switched to phase 3. So anyway, we can run these commands as needed to update GitHub. And again, real true programmers tend to like that better. That's a bad way of saying it. It doesn't mean if you don't like doing it this way, you're a bad programmer. That just means that a lot of people prefer to just do this at the command line than mess around with the GUI. So anyway, so we've got the branch checked out, and what are we going to do in this project? So let me open up our project. We'll run it from what we had and just kind of introduce what we're doing for this set of videos. I think this cough has affected my brain. The processor's not quite up to par. It's not running at full speed right now. All right, we open up Visual Studio Code, and see where we left off, remind ourselves where we left off. All right, we've got our backend water project API set up, and I'll go ahead and run this. So right click on the project, open in terminal, and just run the .NET run command. And we're running. So then over on the React side, we'll just come in here, cd into the front end, npm run dev. It'll pop up our window, and sure enough, this is where we left off. So we've got a list of projects, and we made this functionality that we can go from page to page to page using that or the next button. We can choose to filter by more results or less results. And it builds the pages dynamically. So we're in a good spot here. What I'm wondering now, I think what we'll attack next is giving the user the ability to filter. So here, typically when you see a list of, you think about Amazon or other websites where you're shopping, you have filters here on the side, and you can go in and select these certain brands and it will filter to those brands. And so What I'm thinking is, let's take something like the project type and allow the user to filter by the project type, which will give us, teach us some more principles in React that we can use not just for filtering, but for doing lots of different things. And so anyway, that's the plan for this set of videos, is to make it so we can filter by anything really, but we're going to focus in on project type. Okay, we'll start that process in the next video. Spencer out. And Evil Hilton in. Professor Hilton totally spaced. He was going to cover one more thing in regards to GitHub. And so I'm helping him out in my effort to break good. So Professor Hilton had this issue a number of videos ago where it took forever to upload to GitHub. And he was confused on why. He thought it was something to do with the front end, but it wasn't. It was to do with the back end. So by default, the Vite setup comes with a gitignore file. But by default, the API does not come with a gitignore file. And it was the mini configuration files that were slowing our process down of uploading to GitHub. And so what we're going to do is on the back end in our .NET backend app, we are going to right click and say add, and we're going to add an item. It's just going to be a text file, and the name of the text file is going to be gitignore. We add that, and then that's just a text file. We can put whatever entries in here in terms of files that we want to ignore. Now in any typical project, there's a lot of configuration files. And if you click on the Show All Files button in Visual Studio, it will show these bin folders and object folders. And if we go up a level, it'll have the VS folder. And so there's some folders that are built when the app is run for configuration. And if we delete those files, sometimes we do delete them because they're causing problems. And it will just rebuild them when we run it the next time. So those are files that we can ignore that take up a lot of space. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add some entries in here in files to ignore. We're going to add the bin folder and the object folder. We're going to add the .vs folder. We're going to add the *.suo folder and the *.user folder and the *.sln. And these are just some suggested ones. We don't have to ignore these if we don't want to, and we could ignore more if we want to. If we're using Rider and JetBrains, we want to use idea / and *settings / .user. We can ignore temp files so and log files, so we can ignore *.log and *.tlog. And so on and so forth. So we can ignore whatever we want to. As we get into security, we might want to ignore things like the appsettings.json, which has our configuration information, and other files. So with that, we'll save this. And then for this time, we already did the 20-minute upload with GitHub, so it might not help us that much. But in the future, if we add this gitignore file, it won't take all that time to upload to GitHub the first time we do. Hopefully I've done some good here. Evil Hilton out.